Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings. This first meme says it all, but I'm putting this one first because right after this, we're going to have the Pierce County, Washington sheriff who provided testimony to Congress earlier in April 2025 talking about what it is that the state of Washington is attempting to do. This is, of course, a meme about gun control for dummies. Meaning before all this gun grabbing nonsense became such a thing. You've got the law abiding citizen who's both a holstered pistol and a long arm. Presuming a rifle. Doesn't look like a shotgun, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Could be a shotgun. It could be a freaking cannon for all I care. Bottom line is, there's that quote: an armed society is a polite society. But with the gun grabbing nonsense, what it does is the only people that surrender are the ones who follow the law, meaning criminals are going to remain armed. But where are they going to get guns from? Come on. Obama gave them guns in the Fast and Furious deal back, 15 years ago. And that's only one example of the government providing arms to criminals. There's many others if you do your own research on it. The bottom line is weapons will always be available to criminals because they will just steal them. Number two, anybody with any sense of skill can craft one at the frickin' local True Value, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever your hardware store of choice is. It doesn't take much. All you need is a nail, a pipe that's rifled. Well, you don't even need to rifle the pipe, but for precision. Anyway, the point being is, as long as you've got a nail that provides an impact onto the primer, it's going to ignite the cartridge and push the ballistic out through the barrel. Oversimplified, not quite instructional, but that's it. There's even videos on YouTube on how to do that. That is how simplistic it is. The technology's been around for 500-600 years. But let's segue into the reason that it's being taken away, because, as I said, it's a war on law-abiding individuals, not criminals. To give you an example, let me illustrate the point. Perhaps one of my most favorite books that I've ever read was Atlas Shrugged. And inside the novel, it documents certain key figures. One of them is Henry Reardon, who was a steel magnate, meaning that he was the top industrialist at steel production. He innovated something called Reardon metal, which was several magnitudes stronger than steel itself. He's confronted by Floyd Ferris, who is a government scientist. Think Tony Fauci, but for industrial applied sciences. And he goes on to tell Hank Reardon, "Did you really think that we want those laws to be observed? We want them to be broken. There's no way to rule innocent men. The only power any government has is the power to crack down on criminals. Well, when there aren't enough criminals, one makes them. One declares so many things to be a crime that it becomes impossible for men to live without breaking the laws." And then there's that idea that, what is it? The average American commits 7 felonies a day without being aware of it. Yeah, so let's segue into the Pierce County Sheriff's comments to Congress about what he's being sued by their the state's AG.
We're being faced with a lawsuit from the Attorney General of Washington State on, in my view, some...
They're suing you for trying to uphold the law. What a crazy world we live in. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. How awful that is.
That's okay.
Because it pisses me off.
Yeah, I get it. It pisses me off. But the reality is that it's some of the circumstances that have been, it's very political. It's politically driven, and it's unfortunate that we're in that position.
What are the Democrats in your state doing to prevent you from doing your job? And do you expect more of this, or are you not allowed to enforce the law?
It's come down to I'm not allowed to or else. And that's really what we're faced with. We have an Attorney General that is going by his marching orders, whatever you want to call it, and coming after our little agency to serve as a message to the rest of the state of Washington. And if you look behind me, that's why these sheriffs are here today. They all feel the heat. They feel the situation is bearing down on us. We're only 39 sheriffs in our state. And our state needs sheriffs. In 2021, we had an incident of an illegal alien that took the life of a mother and a daughter. The daughter being a special needs female that had the capacity of a five-year-old, and they did it in a very horrific way by dismembering the bodies and leaving them in a trunk of a vehicle.
How did that impact your community?
That was a huge impact in our community.
How so?
Well, any horrific crime, no matter who's involved, is going to impact the community. And I think that the situation that we were faced with is the limited resources that everyone keeps talking about here. I'm a department of 18 people, and that includes myself and my undersheriff that we're working.
Are you allowed to hold someone with an ICE detainer?
We are not.
Are you allowed to transfer someone if ICE requests that you transfer them to their custody?
Or according to the KWW, no.
So the state law actually directly, not indirectly, not impliedly, it actually directly defies federal law, federal statute.
That's what I understand, yes.
Yeah, because federal statute says if you get a detainer, you're supposed to hold.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hold. That's what federal law says, and you can't do that there.
Correct.
How does that impact the safety of your community?
It impacts us in a great way because, like I believe it was Mr. Jordan was explaining, putting people out onto the street and having them get caught again becomes a bigger problem. We're not arresting on immigration status. We're putting people in jail for crimes they committed in our community, and then ICE, because of public records that are available and things like that, they have the ability to find out who's in our custody and where they are and when they're released and all those kind of things. And they are basically released to their custody in the opposite way, similar to Denver in most cases. It affects us on a huge scale to not be able to communicate with another law enforcement entity. We got to stop these things that's called defund the police, and now because one side has control or whatever, now all of a sudden we have a situation where ICE is the bad guy, and now we got to get rid of ICE. We're a federal, state, local, federal should be working together on all these for law enforcement perspective to find solutions for our communities.
Does it surprise you that another community is affected when there is a sanctuary community that is not honoring ICE detainers?
No.
Does it make it more dangerous for people throughout the region, not just, let's use this example of Dane County, Wisconsin, does it make it more dangerous for people throughout a region as a result of having these sanctuary policies?
I think, like the gentleman over here said earlier, I think every situation is different, every location is different, every circumstance is different. But I do think the policies matter, and the policies that we're faced with in sanctuary policy is it's too hampering for the situation that we're dealing with on the ground.
Sheriff Wagner, we've heard from the Democrats that, and their witness, that sanctuary laws make our communities safer by releasing criminals back into our communities rather than obeying the federal law that requires their deportation. What's your professional opinion?
I think it's wrong. I think we need to assist each other.
Do these sanctuary laws make our cities safer or less safe?
Less safe.